Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me, brothers and sisters? If you're having problems to hear me, I can take the mic directly. I can take the mic directly if you're having problems to hear. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala Imam al-Anbiya wal Mursaleen Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd, brothers and sisters in Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, as I was saying previously, we shall be covering the topic, the rules of Nikah. Before continuing the topic, let us define Nikah. ما هو تعريف النكاح لغة وشرعا؟ Nikah, according to the linguistic meaning, Bismillah, the technical meaning of Nikah is a holy matrimony between a male and a female. A holy matrimony between a male and a female. Therefore, according to Sharia law, marriage cannot take place between two males or two females, because the definition is a holy matrimony between a male and a female. The next question, hal an-nikah wajib or mustahab? Listen to the question, hal an-nikah wajib or mustahab? Is it compulsory or is it strongly recommended? Listen to the answer, an-nikah wajib fi haqq man istata'a ilayhi wa huwa yakhaf min al-fawahish. Nikah becomes compulsory on the person who has sexual needs and he fears falling into fawahish. So the moment you have sexual needs and you fear zina, nikah becomes compulsory on you. The Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Ya ma'ashar al-shabab man istata'a minkum al-ba'a falyatazawaj فإنه أغل البصر وأحسن الفرج ومن لم يستطع فعليه بالصوم فإنه له وجاء. O you shabab, you young people of Islam, those of you who is able to get married, let him get married, because his marriage will help him to lower his gaze and protect his private parts from bad things. And those who cannot afford to get married, let him fast, because in the fasting he shall find his self-control. So the scholars of Islam, they agree unanimously among themselves that the person who fears falling into zina, marriage becomes compulsory on that person. Now, as for the practice of abstention, and that is what the priests and the monks do, this is not encouraged in Islam. It is a bid'ah, because Allah told you in Surah 57 verse 27 that this action of abstention, what the priest and the nuns are doing, it is a cursed innovation. Surah 57 verse 27. So a Muslim is not allowed to practice abstention when he has needs, because Allah said that abstention is a cursed innovation. Allah said, Ibtada'uha ma katabnaha alayhim. They innovated it and we did not tell them to practice it. Also the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Atazawaj an-nisa, I marry nisa, faman raghiba an sunnati falaysa minni. I marry women, and anyone who abstained from my sunnah of getting married, he or she is not a follower of me. Okay, but the monasticism which they invented for themselves, that is the priests and the monks, the nuns, we did not prescribe for them. Allah said, Ma katabnaha alayhim. We did not prescribe such practice for them. So Allah used the word ibtada'uha. What they are practicing is a cursed innovation. So Muslims believe in nikah, we don't believe in abstention. And that is from the Roman Catholic faith, and we are not Catholics, neither are we Buddhists. They are the ones who practice abstention. Next question, هل يحل المرأة أن تهب نفسها لرجل? Is it permissible for a woman to give herself away in marriage to a man without a wali? Listen to the question. هل يجوز للمرأة أن تهب نفسها لرجل? Is it allowed for a woman to give away herself in marriage to a man without a wali? The answer is لا يجوز ذلك. It is not permissible for a woman to give away herself in marriage to a man without a wali, because of the hadith of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, أي امرأة نكحت بغير إذن وليها فنكاحها باطل فنكاحها باطل فنكاحها باطل. Any woman who marries without the permission of her wali, her marriage is batil, batil, batil. Now, Abu Hanifa, he believes that a woman can marry herself without a wali. Abu Hanifa said that if the woman is free, she is not a slave and she's not mad, and she has her aql, her intellect is sound, then if she gives away herself in marriage to a man without a wali, her marriage is sahih. This is Hanafi fiqh. And Abu Hanifa said, the same way a woman is allowed to spend her money because it's her money, she can give away herself in marriage to a man that she likes because it's her life. This is Hanafi fiqh. If a girl should get married without a wali because she is of the Abu Hanifa madhab, you are not allowed to say she is committing zina and that she is living in sin because she acted upon her madhab. So in that case, a sheikh has to examine the husband, and if the husband proves to be a good person, he is good in character and he is good in his deen, then the sheikh can pronounce the marriage as valid. But if the sheikh should examine the husband and he turns out to be a Barelwi or a Shia or a Qadiani, a person with wrong aqidah, then the sheikh pronounced her marriage as batil and he has to nullify that marriage. So a woman who gets married without a wali, her marriage is hanging in the balance. You are not allowed to say her marriage is batil or her marriage is sahih. Her marriage is hanging in the balance, and her husband has to be vetted. Vetted means he has to be examined. If he turns out to be a person who is good in character and good in his aqidah, then the sheikh pronounces her marriage as valid. If he turns out to be evil, maybe he's not a Barelwi, maybe he sells drugs. Maybe he's not a Barelwi, maybe he sells crack cocaine on the streets. Maybe he's not a Barelwi, but he's a pedophile. Maybe he's a wife beater. He's cruel. His character is evil. So if his character turns out to be evil, then the Sheikh has to pronounce the marriage as batil. Yes, so this is the verdict in regards to a girl who gets married without a wali. Now, sometimes the wali is awkward. The wali proves to be awkward. Because Muslim parents have issues, they ignore the sexual needs of their kids. And most Muslim parents, they ignore the sexual needs of their kids. So their attitude is every woman has needs except my daughter. My daughter is different, she doesn't have needs. This is the attitude of Muslim parents. And they are not pious like the time of the Sahabas. In the time of the Sahabas, when Hafsa needed a husband, Omar approached Abu Bakr. And I'm trying to remember who he approached first. He approached Uthman first, yes. He was looking a husband for Hafsa. He approached Uthman first. And Uthman said, it is not my intention to get married at this time, at this particular time. He gave Omar an answer. Then Omar approached Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and said, I would like you to marry Hafsa. And Abu Bakr kept quiet. He didn't say yes or no. And he got Omar very upset. Omar said, at least Uthman gave me an answer. You didn't give me an answer. You kept quiet. And Omar went to the Prophet and complained. And the Prophet smiled and said, don't worry, maybe Allah will provide a better husband for your daughter than the two you approached. And the Prophet married Hafsa himself. Abu Bakr said, I was interested in Hafsa, but because I knew that the Prophet was interested, I refused to marry Hafsa. So I myself was interested because Hafsa was beautiful. I was interested, but because I knew the Prophet was interested, I did not accept the proposal coming from Omar. Now, in the time of the Rasulullah, the Sahabas, they used to approach pious men and ask them to marry their daughters. But the Muslim parents today are not like that. They have a lot of pride and arrogance and ignorance. They have a lot of issues. They have racism, tribalism, nationalism, regionalism, and the caste system. So marriage is a big issue for the Muslim parents today because of the diseases of the heart that they have. And some Muslim girls fall into zina because their fathers didn't look a husband for them. They are not like Omar radiallahu anhu, who went looking for a husband for Hafsa because he knows that Hafsa has her needs. Today the Muslim parents have issues. So the question is, هل يجوز للرجل أن يعرض ابنته أو أخته على رجل صالح? Is it permissible for a man to approach a righteous man and ask him to marry his daughter or his sister? The answer is نعم يجوز. لقول الشيخ الصالح لموسى إني أريد أن أنكحك إحدى ابنتي هاتين. Surah 28 verse 27. The Sheikh in Madian said to Musa, I want to give you one of my daughters in marriage. The Sheikh approached Musa and said, I would like you to marry one of my daughters. Surah 28 verse 27. And the other evidence is when Omar approached Uthman. He approached Uthman and then he approached Abu Bakr as-Siddiq to marry his daughter Hafsa. I intend to wed one of these two daughters of mine to you, on condition that you serve me for 8 years. That was the mahar. You serve me for 8 years. But if you complete 10 years, it will be a favor from you. But I intend not to place you under a difficulty, a burden. The Surah 28 verse 27. So this was Shu'aib in Madian approaching Musa and said, I would like you to marry one of my daughters. So a righteous man will look for a righteous husband for his daughter. But when a person is not on deen, they will never look for a husband for their daughters. Because this person is not on deen and the person is very jahil, they have their daughters in the house and they will never approach men to marry their daughters. Because they are jahil. They are not like Umar ibn al-Khattab, who approached Uthman and Abu Bakr and said, marry Hafsa. The next question, ما هن النساء اللاتي يحرم على رجل الزواج منها? What are the women that are haram for you to marry? It is haram for you to marry a woman who your father was married to. Because of Surah Nisa verse 22, وَلَا تَنْكِحُوا مَا نَكَحَ آبَاؤُكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ إِلَّا مَا قَدْ سَلَفَ إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً وَمَقْتًا وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا. Do not marry women who your fathers were married to, except what you did in Jahiliyyah. So the pagan Arabs, their practice is that when a father should die, the son would inherit his wives. So if he had 10 wives, the son would inherit all the women except the mother. He wouldn't go to bed with his mother, but he would go to bed with his stepmothers. And this was made haram in Surah Nisa verse 22. And Surah Nisa 23 tells you also the women who are haram for you to marry. One day, the Rasul sent a man to kill another man and to confiscate his property. When he was asked, what did he do? They said, he inherited his father's wife. So the women who are haram for you to marry, these women are called the mahram. You are mahram for these women. Your stepmother. So you are a mahram for your stepmother forever and ever. You are forever, and you are mahram for your stepdaughter. So Surah Nisa verse 23, forbidden to you in marriage are your mothers and your daughters, your sisters, your father's sisters, your mother's sisters, your brother's daughters, that is your niece, your sister's daughters, your foster mothers. So if a woman gives suck to you, she is your mother from the milk, and you are mahram for her. And if a woman gives suck to you, she is your mother by milk, and all her daughters are haram for you. Because of the hadith, anything which is haram by blood is haram by the milk. So all the foster sisters are haram for you to marry. Your foster mothers who gave suck to you, your foster milk suckling sisters, your wives' mothers, your stepdaughters. So a girl is allowed to uncover in front of her stepfather, because the stepfather is mahram for her. Your stepdaughters under your guardianship, born of your wives to whom you have gone in. But there is no sin on you if you have not gone in them to marry their daughters. If you marry a woman and then the marriage was annulled before you consummated the marriage, you can marry the daughter of the woman. I repeat, you marry a woman and the marriage was annulled before you consummated the marriage, you can marry the daughter of that woman because you didn't consummate the marriage. The wives of your sons. So, the wives of your biological sons are haram for you. But if you have an adopted son and your adopted son should die, you can marry his wife after his death, because this law is only for the biological son. So the wife of your biological son is haram for you, but your adopted son, because he is not your biological son, if he should die, you are allowed to marry his wife after his death. So these are the women who are haram for you to marry. So these women who I have just made mention to you of, they are allowed to uncover in front of you the Muslim man. So who are the women who are allowed to uncover in front of you, to take off their hijab? Your mothers, your daughters, your sisters, your father's sisters, your mother's sisters, your brother's daughters, that is the niece, your sister's daughters, another niece, your foster mother. So a woman who gives suck to you is your foster mother. She can uncover in front of you, and all your foster sisters are allowed to uncover in front of you because they are your sister by the milk. Your wives' mothers can uncover in front of you. Your stepdaughters can uncover in front of you as well. Now, what if the stepfather is a kafir? Can a woman uncover in front of him? Even if your stepfather is a kafir, he is mahram for you. You cannot marry your stepdaughter. The stepfather cannot marry his stepdaughter. That is not permissible. So if a Muslim sister should uncover in front of her stepfather, even though he's a kafir, she did not do anything haram, because he is mahram for her for life, because he consummated the marriage with her mother. Now, and a man is not allowed to marry two sisters and live with them simultaneously. But if one sister should die, he can marry the other one, or he divorce one and marry the other one. But to marry two sisters and live with them simultaneously, that is haram. Also, you are not allowed to marry the aunt and the niece and live with them simultaneously. You are allowed to divorce one and marry the other one, but to marry the aunt and the niece and live with them simultaneously, that is haram. The other women who are haram for you to marry, these women who I have just made mention of, these are relatives. These women are haram for you to marry because they are your relatives. There are other women who are haram for you to marry, and these women are haram for you because of their aqidah. You are not allowed to marry a mushrika, a Hindu girl, a Buddhist girl, a Sikh girl, even though Sikhs are closer to Islam than Hindus. It is haram for you to marry a Hindu girl, a Sikh girl, a Buddhist girl, a Rastafarian girl, because Rastafarians are pagans. And the sheikh who performs the marriage, you marry a Sikh girl, a Hindu girl, the sheikh who performs the marriage becomes a kafir, because Ibn Taymiyyah said whenever a scholar makes haram halal and halal haram, that scholar becomes a kafir. And please bring me the fatwa of Ibn Taymiyyah. So by that sheikh officiating in the marriage, he officiated the marriage by getting the marriage, that action is an action of apostasy, because it is haram for a Muslim man to marry a pagan woman. You are not allowed to marry a Buddhist girl. Okay, Ibn Taymiyyah said, whenever a person makes halal what is haram by consensus, or makes haram what is halal by consensus, or replaces the Sharia that is agreed upon by consensus, then he is a kafir by the agreement of the scholars of fiqh. Yes, so you being a sheikh and you are performing a marriage between a Muslim boy and a Hindu girl, you are making a mockery of Quran and Sunnah. You are making what is haram halal, so you become a kafir by performing that marriage. A Muslim man is allowed to marry a Muslim girl, a Jewish girl, or a Christian girl. These are the three women he can marry. A Muslim girl, a Jewish girl, a Christian girl. As for marrying a Zoroastrian, a fire worshipper, that is not permissible in Islam, because the Zoroastrians, they do not fall into the category of the people of the book. And even when a Muslim boy is allowed to marry a Christian girl, a Jewish girl, this permission is granted when no Muslim girls are available for him to marry. I repeat, this permission is granted only when no Muslim girls were available for him to marry. If Muslim girls are there for him to marry, then it is not permissible for him to marry a Jewish girl or a Christian girl. Because when Omar was the caliph, a man married, one of his governors married a Christian girl, and Omar wrote a letter and said, divorce her. So he quickly wrote Omar a letter and said, why should I divorce her? Allah gave me the permission to marry Christian girls in Ma'idah 5, Surah 5 verse 5. Then Omar wrote him another letter, and Omar quoted Ma'idah 51, in where Allah said, oh, you believe, don't take Jews and Christians for friends, because they are friends of each other. Omar said, when you marry Kafir girls, who will marry the Muslim girls? And then he divorced her. So Omar interpreted the law to mean you are only allowed to marry these Christian girls when no Muslim girls are available for you to marry. Of the people of the scriptures is lawful to you, and yours is lawful for them. Also the chaste woman from the believers, and the chaste woman from those who give in the scripture. So Jewish girls and Christian girls who didn't have boyfriends, they are the ones you can marry, not the ones who sleep around. So if there is a Christian woman who was married and she was loyal to her husband, then you can marry that woman. if she is a widow. But as for the Christian girls and the Jewish girls who sleep around, they are haram for you to marry, because Allah said they have to be chaste. The condition Allah put down in the Quran, Surah 5, verse 5, they have to be chaste for you to marry them. Now, as I told you previously, a Muslim boy is allowed to marry a Christian girl and a Jewish girl, and that is only when no Muslim girls are available for him to marry. As for the Muslim woman, a Muslim woman is only allowed to marry Muslim men, because a woman belongs to the religion of her husband. So Muslim women are only allowed to marry Muslim men. If a Muslim woman should marry a kafir, this means she is living in sin, she is committing fornication, it's not a marriage, and the kids that were born from this marriage with the Christian man, they are bastard kids, and they are not allowed to lead the salah in the masjid. Why? Because her marriage is batil, because she married a kafir man. The evidence for this is Surah 60 verse 10. Surah 60 verse 10 is Hujjah. Allah told you in Surah 60 verse 10 that Muslim girls are not lawful wives for kafir men, and kafir men are not lawful husbands for Muslim women. So a Muslim woman who is married to a kafir man, her marriage is not accepted, it is batil, she is living in sin, and all the kids that were born from this marriage are bastard kids, and they are not allowed to lead the salah in the masjid. And the Sheikh who performed this marriage, between the Muslim girl and the kafir man, the Sheikh becomes a kafir as well, because he falls into the category of those who make haram halal. He falls into the category of those who make haram halal. The next chapter, can a man marry more than 4 women? It is haram. هل يجوز للرجل أن يجمع بين أكثر من 4 نسوة? The answer, the scholars have agreed that it is not permissible. It is haram for a man to marry more than 4 women, and when he marries a 5th woman, it is permissible for him to be killed as a man who committed adultery, because he went over the limit of 4. So to marry a 5th woman, you are making a mockery of Quran and Sunnah, and the Muslim judge, the Qadi, can pass a law for him to be killed for committing adultery with the 5th wife that he has. The next chapter, ما هو نكاح المتعة وما حكمه? What is mut'ah? And what is the ruling for mut'ah? Mut'ah is when a man marries a woman for a fixed period, and he can marry a woman for as short a period as 1 hour. According to the proponents of mut'ah, it is permissible for you to marry a woman for 1 hour. The proponents of mut'ah. This is the fiqh of the Shiites. They allow mut'ah because the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam allowed mut'ah at the conquest of Mecca. Imam Shafi said mut'ah is the only mas'ala, the only issue in which it was haram, then it became halal, then it became haram, then it became halal, then it became haram. Because the Rasul allowed muta at a battlefield, then he made it haram. Then when another battle came, he made it halal. And the reason why the Prophet allowed muta is because the Sahabas were thinking about castrating themselves. And castration is haram. Rabia ibn Umayyah made a temporary marriage with a woman, and she is pregnant by him. Umar ibn Khattab went out in dismay, dragging his cloak, saying, "This temporary marriage, had I come across it, I would have ordered stoning and done away with it." Now the Shiites believe that Omar was the one who made muta haram because somebody muta his daughter and he was offended. What the Shiites say, Omar made it haram because somebody did muta with his daughter and he was offended. And that Omar is seeking to change Islam, and muta is permissible until the day of judgment. Now this is the fiqh of the Shiites. While the Sunnis, they make muta haram because of the hadith of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which he pronounced donkey meat and muta haram at the Battle of Khaybar. Now the Shiites, they try to refute the hadith. They said the conquest of Mecca came after the Battle of Khaybar, and the Prophet made muta halal at the conquest of Mecca. So the Sahabas who were in Mecca were able to do muta for the 2 weeks they were in Mecca, when they conquered Mecca. The correct opinion in regards to muta is that muta is haram, and those who practice muta, if the woman becomes pregnant, the burden is on the woman. And the procedure for muta is that you see a girl and you agree to marry her for 1 hour, and you agree with her to pay her $20 or $50 for the 1 hour. If you cannot find an imam to perform the marriage, an ayatollah, you can marry yourself to her without an imam performing the marriage. With muta, you don't need an imam to officiate. You can agree with the girl, I'm going to pay you $20 or $50, and I'm going to go to bed with you for 1 hour. Once Ali argued with a man who believed in muta and told him that the Prophet made muta and the meat of donkey haram on the day of Khaybar. Yes, well, the Shiites, they refuted this hadith because they said the conquest of Mecca came after Khaybar, and the Prophet allowed muta at the conquest of Mecca. So they refuted this hadith in Bukhari. And they believe that it was Omar who made muta haram because somebody did muta with his daughter and his pride was hurt. So they say muta is permissible until Judgment Day. So a woman in Iran, when she reaches menopause, she is very happy. She is over the moon because she can earn a fortune from muta, and she doesn't have to worry about falling pregnant. She can earn a fortune from muta, and she doesn't have to worry about falling pregnant, because Shiite women, they earn a fortune from muta. The Shiite women of Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, and Pakistan. There is a place in Pakistan called Hira Mandi, the diamond market, where you have a lot of Shiite women getting married to men for 1 hour, and they earn a fortune from getting married to men for 1 hour. Some of these women, they marry to 5 men every night. These women, they marry to 5 different men, sometimes 10 different men every night for 1 hour, and they earn a fortune from muta. Now this dispute about muta will continue until Judgment Day. Do you know why? Because you have some Sunnis, listen carefully, this dispute will never go away. It will continue until Judgment Day. Because you have some Sunnis who believe that a man is allowed to marry a woman for 1 month or even 1 week. In his heart, he wants her for 1 month, but he didn't tell her. He keep it as a secret. So this fitna of mutta will never go away, I can warn you. Because there are Sunnis who believe that, and this is in the Hanbali fiqh, a Muslim man is in China and he has sexual needs. He can marry a girl in China for 6 months or 1 year because he is on business for 1 year or 6 months. In his heart, he only wants her for 6 months, but he did not reveal it to her. This is an opinion in the Hanbali madhab. And the difference between what the Hanbalis are doing and what the Shiites are doing is, the Shiites, they tell the woman, I only want you for one hour or 1 week. While the Sunnis, they keep it in their heart as a secret and didn't tell her. And so, between the Sunnis themselves, they dispute over this issue. So you can expect that this argument will continue until Judgment Day. Another type of marriage is that we're going to discuss is misyar. Misyar was allowed by Sheikh bin Baz, and Sheikh bin Baz became popular among Muslim men because he allowed misyar. Misyar is when you marry a rich girl and she give up her right to maintenance. And the reason why Sheikh bin Baz allowed it is because a lot of rich girls in Saudi Arabia, they don't need money. Not every Muslim woman is poor. So, and sometimes they even live with their parents. The other marriage which we are going to discuss is shighar. Shighar is another type of marriage. It means a man has a 20-year-old daughter and his best friend has a 20-year-old daughter, and they swap. Each one give their daughter to each other and they don't charge any mahar, any dowry. Listen carefully. Two men have two daughters that are ready to get married, and each one give his daughter to the other, and they don't ask of the dowry. They drop the dowry between themselves. This marriage is haram because you are oppressing the girls, because you did not give your girls any dowry. However, it becomes halal if the girls agree. So even though it is haram, shighar, it becomes halal if the girls agree. If the girls didn't agree, it is haram because you are not allowed to practice forced marriage upon women. Allah told you in Surah Nisa verse 19, forced marriages are haram. Allah said, "La yalidna amanu la yahillakum an tarithu an-nisaa karhan." Or you believe you are not allowed to inherit women against their will. So forced marriage is haram. Secondly, the dowry is compulsory to be given to the woman. Of the 4 pillars of the marriage. Marriage has 4 pillars. The way Islam has 5 pillars, marriage has 4 pillars. The first pillar of the marriage is rida, agreement. The girl should agree, the boy should agree. The second pillar is 2 witnesses. And the third pillar is wali. 2 witnesses, wali. And the fourth pillar is the dowry. These are the four pillars of marriage. These are the four pillars of the nikah. The agreement, the two witnesses, the wali, and the dowry. So how can you practice shighar? You drop the dowry, you give your daughter to your best friend, your daughter, and he give his daughter to you, and then you drop the dowry. This is haram. And bring me the hadith of Khansa bint Khidam, in which she was forced to marry and the Prophet annulled the marriage. Khansa bint Khidam. That is the hadith I am interested in. Khansa bint Khidam. She was forced to marry a man and the Prophet annulled the marriage when she complained to the Prophet, and she was from the Ansars, the women of Medina. And the women of Medina, they had strong personalities. They did not take any rubbish from any man. Okay, Shukran narrated Khansa bint Khidam al-Ansariya that her father gave her in marriage when she was a matron and she disliked that marriage. So she went to Allah's Apostle and he declared that the marriage was invalid. Bukhari, volume 7, number 69. Yes, so this hadith tells you that forced marriages are haram. And Surah Nisa, verse 19, also tells you that forced marriages are haram. Could you please bring me the ayah? Surah Nisa, verse 19. I want to see the ayah. Allah Ta'ala said, "La yahillakum an tathu an-nisaa karhan," all who believe. Surah Nisa, verse 19. All who believe, it is not permissible for you to inherit women against their will. Yes, this is the ayah used by the scholars of Islam to say that forced marriage is haram. I don't need to give a whole lecture on forced marriage. One ayah is sufficient. I don't need to give a whole lecture on forced marriages because one ayah is sufficient. The Sheikhs, please bear in mind that I am following the notes that I gathered in university. And the next question is it better to marry a virgin or a non-virgin? Now, maybe some of the sisters will be offended by what I have in my notes. These notes are from university. The Sheikh said, Al-Afdal an takun al-mar'a bikr. It is better for the woman to be a virgin unless it is in the interest of the man to marry a non-virgin. And then he brought the hadith of Jabir ibn Abdullah, in which the Prophet found out that Jabir got married, and he said to Jabir, "Did you marry a virgin or a non-virgin?" Jabir said, "I married a non-virgin." The Prophet said, "Why didn't you marry a virgin so that you can play with her and she can play with you, and you make her laugh and she make you laugh?" فَهَلَا بِكْرًا تُلَاعِبُهَا وَتُلَاعِبُكَ وَتُضَاحِكُهَا وَتُضَاحِكُكَ. This hadith can be found in both Bukhari and Muslim. So the Prophet encouraged Jabir ibn Abdullah to marry a virgin. But when Jabir ibn Abdullah said to the Prophet, "I have big sisters and I need a mature woman to look after my big sisters, to be a role model for my big sisters," then the Prophet approved of his choice. So a non-virgin is good sometimes and a virgin is good sometimes. If you want a mature woman who can help you in life, then you should go for a non-virgin. So there are three types of Muslim men. Muslim men are divided into three categories. The first category, when they want to marry an Aisha, a young pretty virgin who loves the deen. A young intelligent pretty virgin who loves the deen, that's called an Aisha. And the second category is he wants to marry a Khadija. He wants to marry a pious, mature woman who can help him in life. That is called a Khadija. And the third category of Muslim men, he wants one of each. He wants to marry an Aisha and a Khadija. So there are three Muslim men out of three categories. The first category, he wants to marry an Aisha, a young pretty virgin who is pious and loves the deen. That is an Aisha. The second category, he wants to marry a Khadija, a mature, pious woman who is experienced and who can help him in life. That is a Khadija. And that Khadija is called his rock. Every man needs a Khadija if you want to be successful. And the third category of Muslim men, he wants one of each. He wants an Aisha and he wants a Khadija. Yes. Now, the best woman to take on a honeymoon is not a virgin. If you want to have fun, the best woman to take on a honeymoon is a divorcee. Because when you go for a job, the first question they ask is, do you have experience for the job? Have you got experience? Therefore, the best woman to take on a honeymoon, if you want to have fun, is a widow or a divorcee. Because these women, they have experience, and when you go for a job, the first question they ask you in the interview, have you got any experience for the job? Bear in mind that the favorite wife of the Prophet, Khadija, and he didn't marry any other wife with her, she wasn't a virgin. Khadija was a widow. And the Prophet loved her so much, she was his soulmate. He didn't marry anybody with Khadija while she was alive. So please do not think that virgin is all that. The best women, some of the best women in life, they are not virgins. Some of you brothers, you don't want to marry sisters with kids. I've met many of you brothers, you don't want to marry sisters with kids. But when you marry sisters with kids, the kids become your kids, your stepkids. And you get a lot of barakah to marry a sister with kids. So you need to be open-minded and stop being narrow-minded and start to marry sisters with kids. Because in this room we have some sisters with kids and they are struggling to find husbands. If you cannot marry a sister with kids, you are not ready for jihad. Because you are very petty and you are narrow-minded and you don't want the barakah of bringing up stepkids. When I was in the UK, I married a Pakistani sister with 2 kids, and the kids became closer to me than the mother. The 2 kids became closer to me than the mother. And they grew up to love the deen. So there is a lot of barakah in marrying sisters with kids. So you need to stop being narrow-minded and petty. And you love the dunya as if to say you are going to live forever. Some of the best women in the world are women with kids. So what if a sister is a widow? You're going to turn your back on her? Her husband died in a car accident and she has 2 kids. You're going to turn your back on the sister? She needs a husband so that the kids will remain in Islam. So you need to stop being petty. You need to be open-minded and marry sisters with kids. The Prophet used to marry women with kids. The Rasul ﷺ used to marry women with kids and bring the kids up like his own flesh and blood. So why can't you be like the Prophet? And the kids they and the Prophet used to eat from the same plate. When the Prophet married women with kids, the Prophet and the kids used to eat from the same plate. That's how much he treated them like his own flesh and blood. One day he was eating with a boy, and the boy was his stepson, and his hand was all over the plate. He said, Ya Ghulam, O young man, Samillah, begin by saying Bismillah. Kul bi yaminik, eat with your right hand. Wa kul mimma yalik, and eat from the section of the plate which is nearest to you. So the Prophet always married women with kids, and he used to teach the kids Islamic adab, Islamic etiquettes. And the Prophet only married one virgin in his lifetime. The next chapter, is it permissible for a man to look at a woman that he wants to marry? هل للرجل أن ينظر للمرأة التي يريد أن يتزوجها وما هو القدر الذي ينظر إليه? Is it permissible for a man to look at the woman he wants to marry, and what section of her body he is allowed to look at? This is the next chapter. There are 3 opinions among the scholars as to what section of her body he is allowed to look at. The first opinion is Abu Hanifa. He is allowed to look at her face and the palm of her hands. That's Hanafi fiqh. The second opinion is the opinion of Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Ahmad ibn Hanbal said you're allowed to see her the way her father can see her. So she's allowed, when you go to her house to propose, she's allowed to come out in front of you with no hijab. And you can see her the way her father sees her. So if she comes out with no hijab and addressed to her knees, she did not do anything wrong. And this is Hanbali madhab. So she comes out in front of you and serve you a cup of tea, for example, with no hijab and addressed to her knees, she did not do anything wrong, and that is Hanbali fiqh. The third opinion is shadh, it is weird, it is bizarre, and this is the opinion of Dawood al-Zahiri. In his madhab, he says you should go to her house and peep on her when she's having a shower and see her naked. This third opinion is bizarre, it is weird. You are not allowed to practice it. I only tell you the opinion because I learned it in university. Because no Muslim man will allow you to come to his house and peep on his daughter when she's having a shower in a naked state. Yeah, this is the madhab of Dawood al-Zahiri. But Dawood al-Zahiri is known for passing fatwas of this nature. He is known for passing fatwas like this. Because the Prophet said, any woman who asks her husband for a divorce without a valid reason will never smell the fragrance of paradise. Meaning she won't go to paradise. Dawood al-Zahiri said, the woman will go to paradise, but she won't smell it when she is in there. That is his madhab. She will still go to paradise, but she won't smell it when he's in there. When Omar was the caliph, he proposed. Okay, this is a hadith. And a woman who asks her husband for a divorce for no reason, then the smell of paradise is forbidden for her. Found in Tirmidhi, collected by Tirmidhi, and is classified as a Hasan. Dawood al-Zahiri said she will still go to paradise, but she won't smell the paradise. She won't smell paradise when she is in there. Now this is a weird fatwa. And Allah said in Surah Isra that you are not allowed to say oof to your parents. I'm sure you are aware of Surah Isra. Surah Isra is Surah 17 verse 23. Surah 17 verse 23, Allah said, don't say oof to your parents. This means you are not allowed to beat your parents. If you cannot say oof to your parents, you are not allowed to beat your parents. Dawood al-Zahiri said, you are allowed to beat your parents, but don't say oof while you beat them. That is another weird fatwa of Dawood al-Zahiri. You can beat your parents, but don't say oof while you beat them. This is another weird fatwa of Dawood al-Zahiri. He used to be a student of Ahmad ibn Hanbal. He was a student of Ahmad ibn Hanbal, but he got kicked out of the study circle because he said the Holy Quran was created. That's why Ahmad ibn Hanbal kicked him out. He said the Holy Quran was created, and because of that, he was kicked out of the study circle of Ahmad ibn Hanbal. When Omar was the caliph, he proposed to Kulthum, the daughter of Ali. Ali said, I'm sending her to you, and if you like her, she's yours. When Kulthum came, Omar lifted up her dress and looked at her leg. She said to Omar, if you were not the Amir al-Mu'mineen, I would slap you across the face, because she was a shy virgin. So this is the hadith used by the Hanbalis to say you can see even the leg of the woman. When we say leg, we mean the foot calf, not the thigh, the foot calf. Now, the reason why Omar looked at the leg of Kulthum is because women who are anorexic, they have a low libido. They have a libido problem. And these women who are anorexic, they are not marriage material. They have irregular periods. They can't get pregnant. It's difficult to get pregnant. They have low libido, and they die from heart attack. So you marry a woman who is anorexic and she dies from heart attack, the Kafirs are going to say, you kill your wife, you're a freak. She died accidentally in a sex game in the bedroom. You know how Kafirs like to accuse people wrongfully. So it's best for you to stay away from women who are anorexic. They have low libido. Their periods are irregular. They struggle to get pregnant, and they die from heart attack on a regular basis. If you look at the death certificate of a woman who is anorexic, I can assure you it will say on her death certificate she died of a heart attack. Bismillah. So we have doctors in the room to confirm my statement, and people in the medical field. The next question, are you allowed to look at the woman twice that you want to marry? Are you allowed? Listen to the question. ما حكم تكرار النظر إلى المخطوبة? Makhtuba means your fiancé. Are you allowed to look at your fiancé twice? The scholar said, Tikrar another ila al-makhtuba jaiz. They said it is allowed. إذا كان قصد الخاطب التأكد من مدى قبول بها. If you want to be sure about the chemistry, the scholar said what? You can look at your fiancé, the woman you want to marry, twice to be sure about the chemistry. If you were not sure about the chemistry when you saw her the first time, and it is unwise and it is makruh for you to marry without chemistry. Because when Abdurrahman bin Auf was thinking of getting married, the Prophet said, did you look at her? Go and look at the woman, because some of the women of Medina, they have a defect in their eyes. So it is unwise and it is makruh for you to marry without chemistry. Now a woman can marry a man she is not attracted to. But it is difficult for a man to marry a woman he is not attracted to, because every man needs an erection to consummate the marriage. So a man needs chemistry more than the woman, because a man needs an erection to consummate the marriage. So because of that, a man is not supposed to get married without chemistry. However, some women can marry without chemistry, because chemistry is not important for the woman like it is for the man, because it is the man who needs the erection to consummate the marriage. Now, the next chapter is engagement in Islam. The next chapter is what? Engagement in Islam. In Islam, there is no engagement parties. Engagement parties is a bid'ah. What we have is walima, and walima means the wedding feast. Engagement party is a bid'ah and a waste of money. A girl is engaged in Islam when you propose to her and she says yes. So when you propose to a girl and she says yes, she is engaged. Therefore, it is haram for another brother to propose to her because she is engaged. The hadith says it is not permissible for a brother to propose on top of the proposal of his Muslim brother. And you are not allowed to bargain on top of his bargain. Please bring me the hadith. It is not permissible for a Muslim to propose to a girl who his Muslim brother has proposed to. Now, what if you propose to a girl and she says, let me think about it, we will see? Do not ask for a woman in marriage when another Muslim has already done so. The Muwatta of Imam Malik. Yes. What if you propose to a girl and she says, we will see, let me think? She didn't say yes, she didn't say no. She said, we will see, let me think about it. Can you propose to the same girl? According to Abu Hanifa, you are not allowed to propose to the same girl. According to Ahmed ibn Hanbal, you are allowed to propose to the same girl because she didn't say yes. The correct opinion is the opinion of Abu Hanifa. You are not allowed to propose to a girl when she is thinking about the proposal of a brother. You have to wait for her to turn the brother down to propose to the girl. So Abu Hanifa is correct on this matter, because if you propose to the girl, she's getting 2, 3, 4 proposals. This girl is going to become confused.com. The poor girl is going to become confused.com. She's getting 2, 3, 4 proposals. So Abu Hanifa said, you are not allowed to propose to her while she is thinking about it, because you need to give her time to do Salatul Istikhara. You have to give her time to perform Salatul Istikhara. So when she turns the brother down, then you are allowed to propose to her. If a munafiq, listen carefully, if a munafiq should propose to a girl, you are allowed to propose to the same girl, because the proposal of a munafiq doesn't count. If a Burailwi or a Goofy Sufi, a Saudi Salafi propose to a girl, you are allowed to propose to the same girl, because these people are munafiqun and their proposal doesn't count. When the Prophet said you are not allowed to propose to a girl, when your Muslim brother proposed to the girl, the Prophet is talking about real Muslims, not fake Muslims. I hope that is clear. If it is a munafiq who proposed to the girl, you are allowed to propose to the same girl, because this hadith is not applicable to the munafiq. It's only applicable to the real Muslims. But if it was a real Muslim who proposed to the girl, then it becomes haram for you to propose to the same girl. Whenever a girl turns down the proposal of a brother, she doesn't have to give a reason. Whenever a girl turns down the proposal of a brother, she doesn't have to give a reason. So the brother has no right to press the girl to say, why you said no? I don't make enough money. My car is too old. Am I too short? Am I too ugly? Is my ears too big? Is my nose too big? Is my belly too big? Am I too black? Am I too white? Why? What is the reason? You don't, it is not Islamic for you to press the girl to give a reason. And she doesn't have to give a reason. And the reason why you shouldn't press the girl to give a reason why she turns you down is because of Surah Ma'idah 101. يَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تَسْأَلُوا عَنْ أَشْيَاءٍ إِن تُبْدَ لَكُمْ تَسُؤْكُمْ. O you who believe, don't ask questions. When the answer is given to you, it hurts you. Surah 5, 101. So because of Surah 5, 101, it is un-Islamic to press the girl to give a reason why she rejected your proposal. Also, it is permissible for a girl to propose to a boy in Islam because a woman proposed to the Prophet ﷺ. But women don't normally propose because the female ego doesn't accept no for an answer. When a woman proposes, the female ego doesn't accept no for an answer. We the men, when we get no for an answer, we can get over it within a day, 2 days. Women can't get over it. So women are afraid to propose because the female ego doesn't accept no for an answer. So even though it is halal for girls to propose to boys in Islam, they prefer not to propose. What they do is they drop a hint. And women are very good at dropping hints that they are interested. So the girls nowadays, they drop hints, they don't propose. I thought these women were liberated and they were living in the 21st century. Still, they refuse to propose. Whenever a boy proposes to a girl, you should accept the proposal if you are happy with his character and his deen. Because of the hadith, please bring me the hadith, admins. إِذَا أَتَاكُمْ مَنْ تَرْدُونَ بِدِينِ وَخُلُقِهِ فَلْيُزَوِّجُوهُ إِلَّا تَفْعَلْ تَكُنْ فِتْنَةٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَفَسَادٌ كَبِيرٌ. Whenever you have a daughter or sister and somebody approaches you for her with a proposal and you are happy with his deen and his character, marry her to him. If you don't, you will create fitna on the land and great fasad, great corruption. It is permissible for proposals to take place on the internet and with SMS, with text messages and with emails. All these forms of proposals are permissible. Face to face at the masjid. You can propose to a sister face to face at the masjid. Text message, emails, over the telephone. All these forms of proposals are accepted. Okay, shukran. When someone whose character and morals are agreeable to you approaches you for marriage, give your daughter to him in marriage. If you don't, there will be tribulation and immense corruption in the earth. I would appreciate if you could find the takhrij. Never mind, it's a famous hadith. Whenever a sister gets a proposal in this format, text message, emails, on the phone, she should tell the brother to have a word with her wali. What should she say? She should say to the brother, have a word with my wali, because I cannot make the decision by myself. And the wali will vet the brother. Vet means to inspect and examine the brother for his character and his creed. And the wali should not block the brother if he is happy with his character and his deen, because of the hadith I have just made mention. Mock finger, could you find the hadith with the takhrij? I think the hadith is in Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Nisa'i, and Ibn Majah. Whenever a girl receives a proposal, okay, shukran, authentic 21 for the takhrij. It is confirmed by Abu Dawud. Okay, shukran. Abu Hatim al-Muzanni, and confirmed by Abu Dawud. Okay, shukran for the takhrij. Whenever a girl receives a proposal, it is compulsory on her to examine, to investigate the character of the man, to find out if he is a child beater, a lazy man who doesn't want to work, he's a freeloader, he's a pedophile, he's a wife beater, he's addicted to crack cocaine, he's addicted to heroin. These men are not marriage materials, so you have to investigate. He drinks alcohol, he's addicted to crack cocaine, he's addicted to heroin, he's a pedophile, he's a wife beater, he's lazy, he doesn't want to work and feed his family. You need to investigate the brother when you receive a proposal, and you should go and ask his best friends about his character. It is compulsory on his best friends to tell you the positive and the negative about his character. Because when Bilal was approached by someone and said, such a person wants to marry my daughter, we know that you are good friends, what about his character? Bilal told the truth about his character. Bilal told the good things as well as the bad things, and this is not backbiting, because a proposal is a serious matter. So do not fear that you are backbiting. You should give the good points about the brother as well as the bad points, because this is what Bilal did. Now, Fatima bin Qais was proposed to by Abu Jahm and Muawiyah. She said to the Prophet, and she was a very pretty woman as well, Muawiyah proposed to me and Abu Jahm proposed to me, what should I do? The Prophet said, Abu Jahm is a wife beater and Muawiyah is a time waster, so don't marry any one of them, marry Usama. She was shocked. Usama? Because she was from the noble tribe of Quraysh and she was very beautiful. And Usama was the son of a free slave. So when the Prophet said, marry Usama, she was shocked. However, she accepted the advice of the Prophet and she married Usama, and the marriage was very successful. Now, why the Prophet told the bad points about Abu Jahm and Muawiyah? Muawiyah is a time waster and Abu Jahm is a wife beater. Because a proposal is a serious matter. So whenever a girl approaches you and said, a brother asked for my hand in marriage, can you give me his character reference? You should tell the girl about his character. You should not destroy the life of the girl. You should speak the truth, because Bilal did the same thing. He spoke the truth about his character, and the Prophet did the same thing, and it is not considered backbiting. Similarly, if somebody wants to open a business with you and the person is a liar and a thief, a conman, a crook, you should say, don't open any business with that man, he's a crook, because the wealth of the Muslims is sacred. I've been speaking for a long time. Maghrib is approaching.
Okay, I'm taking 10 questions in regards to the topic, the rules of marriage. And please ask your questions. I will be entertaining 10 questions. Okay, that's the first question. You mentioned that a girl does not have to give a reason for rejecting the proposal of a brother. What about the brother? Does he have to give a reason? He doesn't have to give a reason either. And I told you the reason why you are not supposed to press the sister to give a reason. Surah 5, 101. Surah 5, 101, or you believe, don't ask questions. When the answer is given to you, it causes you trouble. It may cause you hurt. It might offend you. Her answer may offend you. So this is the reason why you are not supposed to press the sister to give a reason why she rejects your proposal. All right, next question, please. Regarding marriage to Kafir women, such as Ahl al-Kitab, also marriage to innovators, is it better to marry a Jew, a Christian woman, or innovator? Also, would you say marriage is absolutely necessary in the West because zina and the fitna is everywhere? I told you when I opened up the speech that marriage is compulsory on people who fear falling into zina and they have sexual needs. So all of you with sexual needs, marriage is compulsory on you. And it's better for you to marry a Diobandi girl or a Brelwi girl than to marry a Christian girl, because the Brelwi or the Diobandi, it's easy for them to adopt the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. It's better for you to marry a Diobandi girl, a Brelwi girl, or an Ikhwan al-Muslimin girl than to marry from Ahl al-Kitab. That's above you. You won't understand. I'll explain later. We have a live audience in Jamaica, and the person who is asking about Diobandi. I will explain later. Yeah. Yes, so it's better to marry a Diobandi girl, a Brelwi girl, than to marry a Christian girl, because it's easy to give them the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah than to give a Christian girl the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Marriage is compulsory on all of you who fear zina because of your sexual needs. Whether you are a male or female, as long as you have needs, marriage is followed on you. I have a family member who was married. He waited the proper waiting period, then he was married, but after he was married, it came out he had committed zina with a girl, and he knew she was pregnant but didn't tell anyone. It has caused some stress in my family. Is this marriage valid since he knew she was pregnant but didn't tell anyone? His marriage is valid, and you should leave him alone with his wife and do not interfere. Even though he slept with her before the marriage and she became pregnant, his marriage is valid, and you should forgive him for what he did and forgive her and leave them alone. And you are not supposed to be a Khawarij and hold it against them. Even though he slept with her before the marriage is valid, and yes, the marriage is valid
as I told you, and you should leave alone and don't interfere. You are not supposed to be they suffer a relapse in regards to their morals because of the environment. So this marriage is valid, and you should forgive them for the zina they committed and don't use it against them. And do poor Muslims also do polygamy? I have seen poor Muslims in Africa doing polygamy, yes. But when you are poor and you cannot look after one wife properly, you shouldn't take on a second wife. If you are poor and you cannot look after one wife properly, you should not take on a second wife unless the second wife agrees to misyar. So when you are poor and you want to do polygamy, the second wife has to agree to misyar. Misyar means the woman has money, so she abandoned her rights for maintenance. That is misyar marriage. Next question, please. How would you propose to a sister? You're allowed to propose with a text message, SMS. You can propose via email. You can propose over the phone. You can propose face to face with her at the masjid, or you can propose from the wali, the angle of the wali. You ask her father or her brother for her hand in marriage. This is how you propose to a girl. You can propose via text message, SMS, email, over the phone, or face to face at the masjid. Or you can ask her brother or her father or her grandfather, because all these men, as well as her uncle, they are her wali. I'm taking 5 more questions. Just a minute. Yeah, I'm taking 5 more questions. Tafaddal. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Faisal. I am married to a young sister who is sensitive and gets upset easily. When she gets upset, she always asks for divorce. I am patient with her. I got strong libido. You didn't spell the word properly. The admins will spell it for you. I have strong libido. Should I get married to a second wife that is mature and life experience? I don't mind if she got children. You need your local sheikh to sit with you and your first wife in a counseling session, and then you express your desire during the meeting. And then the sheikh will weigh up the pros and cons about taking on a second wife based upon the interaction of your first wife, how she reacts to the news. To advise you on the internet is not wise, because I didn't sit with you and your wife and express this idea to her and see her interaction. So you need a local scholar to have a meeting with you and your first wife, and you table the notion, you give her your opinion, and the sheikh will study her interaction and how she copes, and then he will advise you accordingly. But to advise you without meeting your wife, your first wife, it is unwise for me to do so. You take your matter to a local scholar in your community. Next question. If a wali turns down a brother for marrying his daughter because his family is kuffar, is that a valid reason? It's not a valid reason if the brother is practicing. And this is not a valid reason. If the brother is practicing, he is a revert. Don't forget, Abu Bakr and Umar were reverts, and they were the best of Sahabas. The Prophet said the best generation is my generation, then those who come after, then those who come after. The best generation, which is the Sahabas, they were all reverts. So to turn down a brother because he's a revert and because his family is kuffar, I'm afraid this is not a valid reason. If the brother is practicing, then you should accept him as he is. To use his family against him is not good, because then reverts will be despondent and despair. They can't find a wife because their family is kuffar. This is not good, and the reverts will despair. So this is not a good reason to turn down a proposal. The good reason is if he is evil in character or he has erroneous aqidah, dodgy aqidah. Next question, please. As Rasulullah said, you marry a woman because of 4 reasons: her wealth, her family, that is the status, her beauty, and her taqwa. Before marrying, you can know about wealth, family, but how would you know about beauty and taqwa? You know about beauty by looking at her face, because the beauty is in the face. And you know about taqwa because of the conversation you have with her. Whenever you have conversation with a person with taqwa, you can tell that the person has taqwa, because whatsoever is in the heart of the person will come out by the lips. So this is when you know the person is God-fearing. Taqwa means God-fearing. And you can tell if the person has taqwa by looking at their dress code. Because when a person has taqwa, when a person is God-fearing, they observe the Islamic dress code. Abu Hurairah reported that the Rasul said a woman is married for 4 reasons: her beauty, her lineage, her wealth, and her Islamic character, her deen. So gain success with the one who possesses a good character. You should go for the woman with a good character. Question number 9. If the Prophet said marriage without a wali is batil, why do we have to have a choice between his opinion and that of Abu Hanifa, even if one considered himself a Hanafi? Can you please explain? You are not allowed to rubbish the opinion of Abu Hanifa because some walis are very awkward, and the sister was forced to marry without a wali. So you are not allowed to rubbish the opinion of Abu Hanifa because some walis are very, very awkward, they are very jahil. Some walis are racist, tribalist, nationalist. Some of them, they don't even pray. So these sisters who marry behind the back of their wali, sometimes they were forced to do so. You are not allowed to say she's committing zina because she acted upon the madhab of Abu Hanifa. So a scholar will examine her husband, and if he turns out to be a good man, her marriage is valid. And if the husband turns out to be evil, the marriage is batil. So even when I was studying in university, the sheikhs who were Hanbalis, they did not rubbish the opinion of Abu Hanifa. They showed respect to Abu Hanifa, and they said if a girl gets married without a wali, her marriage is hanging in the balance. Her husband has to be vetted, and if he turns out to be good, then the marriage is accepted, and if he turns out to be evil, the marriage is annulled. Okay, we have another question coming up. One last question. What is the hujjah that we need to marry Muslim girls first if they are available rather than people of the book? The Prophet said, follow my sunnah and the sunnah of the 4 rightly guided caliphs. وَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي وَسُنَّةُ الْخُلَفَاءِ الرَّاشِدِينَ. The Prophet said what? Follow my sunnah and the sunnah of the rightly guided caliphs. When Umar was the caliph, somebody married to a Christian girl, and he told the man to divorce her, and then he said, when you marry kafirs, who will marry the Muslim girls? And then he acted upon the advice of Umar and divorced her. The other evidence to prove that you should go for the Muslim girl is because the Prophet said women are proposed to. Men marry women for 4 reasons: her beauty, her wealth, her lineage, and her deen. Go for the one with deen. She will help you to enter the paradise. So the Prophet said go for the woman with deen. The people of the book, they have no deen. The only deen is Islam, because Allah said in Surah 3 verse 19, the only deen Allah acknowledged is Islam. And the Prophet said go for the woman with deen, go for the Muslim woman, the one with deen. So this is the second evidence. The third evidence is that you need a pious wife to bring up pious kids to pray for you when you are inside the grave. Because when you die, all your good deeds come to a stop except three: Sadaqah Jariyah, continuous charity, knowledge you leave behind, and the third, a pious child to pray for you when you are inside the grave. So you need a righteous wife to bring up pious children to pray for you when you are inside the grave. These are the evidences to prove that you should marry the Muslim woman instead of the Kitabiyya, the people of the book, because your kids will become kafirs in front of your very eyes. When there is a divorce, they will get custody and bring up the kids as kuffar just to spite you. And I've seen this a million times in the UK, in which men marry kuffar women, and when there's a divorce, the women, they get the custody and bring up the kids as kuffar. I have the 10 questions I asked for. Tomorrow we'll continue the topic, the rules of marriage. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilaik.